how about a recipe for a roast in the Carey Smart Canner? I'm going to go through what I've done, and then that way you guys can imitate what I've done. If you've never used the Carey Smart Canner, it is a pressure cooker, but it is also something that you can actually can with. We've had this discussion in the past. My glass top stove manufacturer recommends not water bath canning on my stove. I know someone else's does. We've had that discussion before, so we're not going to debate that again today. But I do use my Carey Smart Canner to water bath can. In fact, that's what I've been doing the last couple days. Ignore the new TV. We're putting the security cameras on it. And so what I've done is I've braised a pot roast. I braised it on the stove. I just did a video on what is braising. It's just probably 1 or 2 videos underneath this one. I can put a link if you really want. But so what I've done was I went ahead and braised it. I didn't braise it because you can brown in a Carey Smart Canner, and I've had a video on that before. But my pot roast was really big, and it's just sometimes really hard when they're bigger to just be able to flip it over and braise it well in the Carey Smart Canner. So I did use a pan on the stove and braised it. And I do have a video of what is braising. So what I've done is I cooked my pot roast, which was really big. I actually cooked it for 30 minutes by itself. And then when it got done, I released all the pressure in the pressure cooker. I added all the potatoes and all the carrots and went ahead and restarted it for a total of another 30 minutes. And so I'm going to have to check it. I may need to cook it more time, but the meat was looking really good. It was almost done, but not quite. So everything should be nice and hopefully well cooked by the time this gets ready to dough. I'm going to pause this video and show you how I release the pressure here in a moment. So we'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, we beeped. We're done. Now, in order to be able to open the Carey Smart Canner when using as a pressure canner, you're going to have to release the steam valve on the top, and you're not going to be able to force this open until the temperature from the inside of the unit comes all the way down. Now, what I like to do is, and that's only because my Smart Canner unfortunately is right over top, not quite exactly over top of the light, but it's close. So what I like to do is I will actually toss a towel across the top of it, and then I will actually reach over and do this. And I only do that literally because if you see where the steam is headed, it's heading up on the light, and you know, I don't want to have to worry about my light fixture, and so I just do it this way. Now, you've got to be careful. I used a long handled spoon to hit that with, and that towel is going to be warm in the middle of it. So if you do it my way, just be very careful. And I know some of you are cringing that I do it this way, but that's how I do it. So once it looks like the steam starts to dissipate, I do pull the towel off just by taking the end and pulling it down and putting it on the counter. But this is how I do it, and you'll notice that the steam's kind of slowing down, and it's not as bad as it was, although really it's hitting that light pretty good still. I actually try to move it more onto the edge of the counter, but Ed has been busy helping me do some craft things. I've been working on the spell books and things like that, but I wanted to cook us a really nice dinner because we have been so busy lately, and I just haven't cooked a very great meal. So I thought I'd better cook. I'm going to pause yet, and we'll be back. Okay, as you can tell, most of this is almost done, so I'm just going to pull that off. There is some steam, so as long as that steam is coming out, the Smart Canner is not going to let you open the unit. You're going to have to wait until all the steam is done. So I'm going to pause you, and then we'll be back, okay? Okay, and just so you know, I don't think this is ready. Sorry, that's my oven. Oh, it is ready. So it usually will not let you twist until most of the pressure is released. But it did let me twist, and I was only doing it with 2 fingers. So it is actually ready, but we're gonna give it another moment because when I go to open this, we're still gonna have a lot of steam come up. So we're just gonna wait a moment and we'll open it together. Look at my pretty baby. She's been gated out of the kitchen, so she finally just went and took a nap. Cute little baby husky. Actually, she's 4 years old and she's full grown. And she is 43 pounds, but she was the runt, so she's very small. Okay, so I do like to kind of get beside it. I will usually grab a towel just so my wrist is covered, and I've already twisted it, and that is why I like to have something on my wrist, just because there is still quite a bit of steam. And guys, it's hot when you open this. Don't be fooled by thinking, oh, it's just a little bit of steam like coffee steams. This is very, very hot. So let's check it together. Oh, looky there. Let's check the carrots. Okay, so we'll plate this up and I'll show you. What it looks like. That way I don't flip it everywhere. Oh, look at that. I reached down and went to pull it and it's just falling apart. You know, the downside is figuring out how much time you need depending on how big of meat you do and how thick it is. And so really part of it is just playing and figuring it all out. Anywhere from, 35 to 45 minutes. And then if you're adding potatoes, a little bit more time. But that's perfect. Look at that. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and plate Big Guy some food. We're going to go ahead and eat, and I'll talk to you guys soon. So I hope you like this. Okay, all I did was I braised the pot roast. I peppered it. I salted it. I used just a little bit of onion salt, a little bit of garlic salt just on one side. And then the opposite side, when I salted it, I just used regular salt, but I used very, very, very low amounts of salt. I did use beef bouillon cubes in 2 cups of water, and then I had a whole fresh sweet onion. I just chopped that up, put that in the very, very bottom. Ed's not big into onion, but the onion is at the very bottom underneath the meat. So it is in there, but he just isn't one of those who just loves. And then we cooked the meat for, 35 minutes? 40 minutes, Ed said. And then once it stopped, we released the pressure. I put the carrots and the potatoes back in, and then I put it on for another 30 minutes. I added a little bit more salt, just a little bit of salt, but more pepper, and then put it back in for 30 minutes, and voila. That way, if I'd have put the potatoes and the carrots in all at once and all of that cooked for 70 total minutes, the meat would have been perfect, but the potatoes would have been mush, and so would the carrots. So that is why I opened it and put the carrots in second. So that is how I did it. I hope this helps if you're going to do a roast. You could also do this with pulled pork and not put the potatoes and the carrots in. And then that way you could just use a fork or use your hands once the meat cools down and split the meat all apart. That way, if you wanted to do like a pulled pork, you could do that, or a pulled beef sandwich, you could do that. So that is how I did a pot roast with my Carey Smart Canner. Have a great night. Happy cooking. Talk to you guys later.